work. Sometimes it's great, most of the time it's not. Let me tell you a story about something. So, I work at a jet ski place in Boca on the water. It's actually a really awesome job, but there's always something you can find to complain about work. But let me just get the story setting real quick. So, it was a super busy day. It was like 90 something degrees outside, and normally you work with 2 or 3 people on a busy day, but I was working by myself and doing everything by myself. And normally I handle stuff like that and I don't really have a problem, but it was just an extremely busy day with like people coming up and down, renting stuff, me on the phone all day. It was just super stressful. And the sand was boiling hot, boiling hot. So every time I tried to walk on the sand, it just hurt my feet. So I was also frustrated with my boss, love you Morgan, and I was also going through a lot of personal things, so that didn't help a lot, or that didn't help at all. So to get to the story, so at the end of the day, it was like 5 o'clock, finished with all the rentals, and I was like, gosh, there's this banana boat where you pull people on. It's like kind of like a big tube, and it was sitting in the water, and it was the last thing to put away, and I had to carry it up the beach, and the sand was still boiling hot around the time that it was, and I was just like, gosh, I don't want to bring this thing up. So I sprinted across the sand and got into the water, and I felt just like the water was so pretty, and I was just going to the banana boat, and I felt like God said, sit in the water and just rest for a second. And I was like, okay. So I sat in the water, and the water was beautiful. It was crystal clear. The sky, there wasn't a cloud in the sky. It was pretty blue. And I just sat there for a few moments, just like, man, this is great, right? Then I was like, all right, time to get to work, time to bring this banana boat up. So I grabbed the banana boat, and I'm like dragging it through the water, and I'm like, Lord, could you just help me pull this thing up? Because like it's a pain and you know what, to pull this thing up the beach. And the beach was kind of like vertical, so not slanted. And I was just like, oh, I don't want to carry this up. It's like, so I was like, God, just put an angel behind it or something, pull it up. I was kind of like saying it to jokingly, but I heard like an absolutely. And I was like, all right, bet. I was like talking to myself. I was so tired. So it's like, all right. So I grabbed the banana boat, and I don't know what happened, but I carried that banana boat up easier than I've ever carried it with 2 or 3 people in my entire life. It was just the easiest little thing, like the easiest thing I've ever done. And I put it up, and I was like, wow, either I was over dramatic or that was extremely easy. And I was like, thank you, God. Gotta take everything with a grain of salt. And I was like, thank you. That was really cool. Put an angel behind that, gotta believe it. And I went home, and I was like, all right, it was a cool day, nothing crazy. It wasn't amazing, but I thought it was really cool. And then I heard God say to me, go and write that story down. There's something I want to show you. And I have my computer here, and I just want to share with you guys what he said to me through that experience. And I thought it was extremely powerful. So this is what he said to me, guys.